if I decide in the spring which one wants to play?
Are we back?
Okay. We're back.
Guys, we're back. This is a long recording session.
We've been sitting here for 9 hours.
Yeah.
Which is how long it felt like Uncut Gems was.
So we are. Is
Come close.
this episode 5?
This is episode 5, yeah.
Guys, welcome to episode 5 of The Cook and the Coach.
And the clergy.
And
the other one. I'll come up with a good C.
I'm Beza. I'm the coach.
I'm Kenny. I'm the cook. Welcome.
Welcome back, guys. We have in studio again, but also still Nathan Miske, Jesse Lindahl, Miske, Jess.
Long-time listener.
Long-time listener.
Been listening since day one.
Damn.
That's saying something.
It is.
Guys,
It is.
welcome back to the show. Even though
Yeah,
we
we're
never-
so happy you guys are here. It's
No,
fun.
It's me, Miske, and Xavier Rhodes since day one.
Yeah.
And maybe
Shout
Gus
out.
too. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're the only 2 fans remaining. Xavier stopped listening after episode 4.
Yeah, Xavier's been boycotting us since last episode.
The community just really fell apart after episode 4.
What if that's what happens?
Prophecy.
No! Call back. So this week, we are talking a couple different things. Both of these things came out a little bit ago, but we thought they'd be somewhat relevant to our guests, so we wanted to talk about them. We're talking Kanye's new album, Jesus is King, and we're also talking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the 9th film from Quentin Tarrintino.
It's only 9?
Well,
9th, yeah.
guess.
He
Yeah.
counts Kill Bill as one movie. Even though
Oh,
there's
okay.
two.
Yeah. That
That's
makes
kind of
sense.
goofy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't he only doing 10?
That's what he
That's
says.
what he says. But he's also partnering with other people to make other stuff afterwards, I think. I think I heard he's doing like an animated thing. Maybe a Spider-Man thing, actually. I think it was.
Yeah,
what
I
I
think
heard.
That
like
would be
Star
fun.
Trek movie too, maybe.
Yeah.
I am in on Spider-Man Quentin Tarantino.
Like he,
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah, he's got to do his own thing.
he's too young to be not making anything anymore. I think it would drive him crazy not to be making something. He seems kind of eccentric.
I want to see Nolan and Tarantino team up on a film.
Nolan and Tarantino?
That'd be interesting.
Do you think that they would work well
they
together?
could not work well together.
Why not?
Because they would have to be the guy on their movies, and they
Do they?
Yes.
Nolan has deferred to other people on movies before, where he's just been the writer and had other people direct.
Yeah, and they've been bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it can't be good at some point.
Could you see Quentin Tarantino working well with another dominant
Never.
director?
Never, dude.
Not a chance.
Why not?
Dude, he just won, what was it? For writing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he just won a Golden Globe for that. Either writing or directing.
I don't really believe in the Golden Globes as meaningful.
I don't.
Someone explain something.
I don't either.
Why are they a big
but
deal? Why do people care about the Golden Globes?
I don't know.
They're just like the pre-show for the Oscars.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
True.
why do we actually care about the Golden Globes?
I've never
Unsure.
watched them. I don't
Doesn't
know.
make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's like the prediction of like what do you think's gonna happen. If you go soccer world, it's like the Confederations Cup the year before the World Cup,
They're just the fake Oscars. That's what they are. They're the fake Oscars.
but it's
Yeah.
also TV too. So it's
Yeah,
both TV
it's-
and movies.
It's weird how it's like bigger than the Emmys, but like way lesser than the Oscars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, Emmy should be way bigger than the Golden Globes are.
You'd think.
The Emmys are more meaningful to the TV world. I think it's just the movie world in terms of awards is bigger than the TV world. So because there's movies tagged on, it lifts it.
Yeah, it's just in a weird middle ground for awards.
Did you guys see the Ricky Gervais
Loved
opening
it
monologue?
So
Did you see it?
good.
Jess, did
He
you?
went in.
He went so hard.
I loved every bit of it. It was awesome. Just awesome.
He went so hard. He did all the jokes that needed to be said. It
Yes.
was perfect.
Tim Cook's face when they panned to him was absolutely like perfect. It was that was so funny.
Yeah.
He was just shocked.
There was a
You know,
comedian that tweeted about it. I think it was Whitney Cummings. I'm not sure, but she's
Love Whitney Cummings.
yeah. She said
Whitney, come in the pod. You're coming to town in June. Come
Whitney,
in the
get on the
pod. Get in the
pod.
pod with me.
But yeah, she said she tweeted something along the lines of not watching the Golden Globes, but based on everyone's Twitter reactions, it seems like Ricky Gervais is telling actual jokes.
That is great.
Funny.
He went
yeah,
in,
no,
man.
he killed it. That was
He
hilarious.
he absolutely killed it.
He
Yeah,
talked
it was
about that
perfect.
he started with the college admissions scandal. He went into Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh yeah, that was great.
He talked about Apple and their
All the new
sweatshops.
streaming services.
That was my
Streaming
favorite. That was my
services.
favorite part of it. That was my favorite part of it. We talked about Apple like using like child slaves, and then talk about like ISIS having a streaming service.
Yeah, he's like, you guys are woke, but look at the companies you work for.
I also liked when they panned to Tom Hanks's face after he got through that whole bit. He was flabbergasted.
And they see Adam Driver just laughing his ass off. Adam Driver was
I
laughing.
didn't see that.
Oh, there's a picture of Adam Driver laughing, and he was just enjoying himself.
Well, that
so
makes
much.
sense because he was a Marine, right?
Yeah, so he doesn't care. Yeah.
I couldn't tell if Tom Hanks was putting on a show a little bit with his reaction.
I think he was.
Yeah,
I think he was
looked
too.
really played up.
I think he did because he would be like, oh, like that,
Yeah.
and then he would go right to talking to his
He
children.
looked
and
really cartoony.
he did.
He did. He really did.
He really played into how obviously Hollywood is going to react to certain things.
Yes.
And he used it to his advantage, which most people are scared of it. He instead turned it around.
He's like, I don't care.
Yep.
I mean, and the brilliance of it is he's not going to host again, and he
Yeah.
knows that, so he's willing to do all this.
I loved
Yeah.
it.
He would. They would ask him back.
I think they would.
Oh, for sure. They probably got such a boost from him doing that.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Definitely.
If that didn't happen, would anyone talk about the Golden Globes? No.
I wouldn't have.
I only ever pay attention to the opening monologues.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think he might get asked again. He might not, but I think his willingness to not get asked again is what made it so good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
He was willing to burn the bridge no matter how it went.
Yes. Yeah. Have you guys seen any of the earlier times he's hosted, the monologues that he's done for those?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, dude,
I
there's a
think I've seen
lot.
some of 'em.
There's a lot of really good stuff in there. Yeah, I would definitely recommend him. I went down a YouTube wormhole after this one.
He's perfect for the role of the opening monologue, like award show host.
He is because and also he can totally get away with making anybody mad. He lives in a different country. He has office money. Like he doesn't have to worry about ever
Yes.
working again. He can do whatever he wants, and he's a comedian, so he can say it's a joke.
Did The Office UK make that much money? It was only like 2 or 3 seasons.
But he's a producer on the U.S. version, so
Oh,
he
that's
made
right. That's
bank
right.
off of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So he's okay.
He's gonna be all right.
He's all right.
Yeah, and then plus stand-up touring money, so he's set.
Yeah, and all the money from his specials and everything. Yeah, he's not worried about money.
Yeah, the reason I brought up Golden Globes was Quentin Tarantino did his acceptance speech of whatever award he won, and he was really cocky. He was basically saying he did all the work for most of the awards he's won, and that was making me think like, there's no way he would want to collaborate with
Not
anybody.
a chance.
No, I don't think so.
That makes sense. I mean, that's
or
who,
at least at that level of leadership in a role like that.
that's who he is, though. I mean, he's always been the writer, the director. Like he acts. He always makes like cameo appearances. Like he likes being the guy. He likes having the total control, which I respect because then it's his product. He can be proud of it, and he can make it exactly how he wants.
I respect that.
His movies are always unapologetically like his own movies too.
Yeah, you're never like, is this a Tarantino movie?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
So if he for some reason had someone else doing that with it, just wouldn't be the same.
And I think Christopher Nolan's the same way. You always know
Oh, yeah.
you're watching a Nolan movie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you would combine that. Like, I think in theory it's good. Like, in theory, Russell Westbrook and James Harden together are good, but in practice, probably not going to work out.
Right.
Is this the best cast for a movie ever?
It might be.
It's up there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure up there. Definitely up there.
I mean, just right away. Leo and Brad Pitt. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Now wait, Miske, did you just watch this like the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I only say that because it's probably the freshest in your mind right now.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I was really tired.
Yeah, I didn't see it until I haven't seen it since we saw Jess.
You saw it with Braden. I saw it.
Why? I keep thinking I saw it with you.
I can't remember who I might have seen it by myself. I can't remember.
No shame.
No shame. No shame.
I can't remember who I saw it with, but I don't think I saw it with you.
Did I go see it with
You
Rev?
saw it with Braden. I know that.
Interesting,
Because I was
okay.
invited to that and couldn't go.
Okay, fair enough.
I think this is to say, though, who you see a movie with matters. It affects it.
It definitely
100%.
does.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
For movies I'm really excited about, I'm very selective about who I see it with.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't want
I-
it to be ruined. I want it to be a certain vibe.
Exactly, 100%. 100%.
That's crucial.
No, I totally did see it by myself. I'm remembering now.
Yeah, I've seen it almost twice. I saw it at Riverview Theater by myself, and it was one of my favorite movie experiences ever. I loved it. I had such a good
You
time.
keep talking about the time you went to go see the movie.
man.
Explain the audience like what the day was like for you.
It was just kind of spur of the moment. I was just driving by, and I saw that it was showing in 40 minutes, and I was I decided that I just was going to wait in my car and chill and then go and watch it. I wasn't going to text anybody. I was just going to go experience it. I'd heard nothing but good things. I sat down near the front. I think I had popcorn. I chilled, and it's now a movie that's in my top 10 all-time movies, I think.
Spur of the moment movie decisions, like those are hit or miss, but when they hit, they hit.
It was just very organic. It just happened. I just kind of floated into the theater, had an incredible time, and then left, and it was the best. I loved it.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, definitely in my top 10 movie list. You were saying last podcast that It's a Wonderful Life is also one of your favorite movies.
That's in my top 10.
Oh, man, me too. I actually see that movie once a year for Christmas with my family at Riverview Theater.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
That's
a fun
beautiful.
time. It's a fun time. We'll go to Anchor Fish and Chips, and then we'll go to Riverview Theater to watch that. And it's fun.
Never seen a movie.
Me either.
You guys are missing out.
Oh my
Am I
gosh.
though?
Best Christmas movie, not even close.
I
don't
think so,
care.
too.
I don't care what anyone else says.
I think so,
Freaking Elf
too.
is nowhere near as good as It's a
love
Wonderful
Elf.
Life.
I love
Elf
Elf.
is the best.
Elf is the best.
Elf is up there.
It's
for
very
me.
different movies, obviously.
Very different. I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again last night in prep for the podcast.
Okay, so it's fresh. It's in
It's-
Kenny's
it's
mind. I
fresh
saw
in
it
my
2
mind.
nights ago.
All right.
I only saw 2/3 of it. I saw it through the second act, and then it was super late, and I had to go to
I
bed.
watched it again like a month ago.
Tarantino's not known for short movies.
No. This movie is almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
It is a doozy. Do we
Yeah.
want to do per use? Do we want to do a quick summary of what the movie's about?
Yeah.
And then go into it?
Let's summarize it.
Anyone want to jump in? Otherwise, I can try to take a stab at it.
It's the least fresh in my mind, so I feel like I can do
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. All right, Kenny, you're up.
Is a movie about Jess.
An actor, base.
And a stuntman, Miske.
The actor is played by Leonardo DiCaprio. The stuntman is played by none other than Brad Pitt.
Indeed.
Kenny.
In the movie,
Should we quit this?
Let's jump off that. So, Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't remember their names, but he plays a struggling actor, and Brad Pitt's his stuntman was also kind of like his best friend that he brings. He basically requires on all his movies. And yeah, it's just kind of starting off there in just kind of a weird spot where like they don't have a ton of work coming their way. They're just trying to figure out their next steps, and
yeah, Leo's been doing a lot of TV work lately. He's getting typecast, and he's getting advice from people closer to him in the industry that if he keeps doing this, he's not going to have a successful future in acting
And,
anymore.
they're like in their late 30s, early 40s, but they're kind of already worried that they're has-beens and that the industry has kind of moved past them, and that they're just not sure what's next for them.
Next door, Margot Robbie moves in, who plays Sharon Tate in the movie, and she is this new up-and-coming person, and it's this contrast
Real life
between...
person, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know any of that going
I
into the
didn't know that
movie.
at all.
Yeah.
What?
Sharon Tate was actually married to Roman Polanski, who's also
Oh.
played in the movie. Yeah.
Fun.
And she really, I mean, I guess spoiler alert.
Yeah,
she
spoilers.
really in real life got killed by Charles Manson's crew when Roman Polanski was away shooting a movie.
Yep. So I
And
think
she was actually like 9 months
her-
pregnant when it happened.
This is like
Super
a story
tragic.
that might have happened like the week before that happened. You know, that's what it's based on.
Yeah, this movie is an alternate universe of what might have happened in the Sharon Tate murder.
But that stuff's all kind of in the background because we're focused on Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio's
Right,
characters.
yeah.
Right.
So all this stuff is kind of sprinkled throughout the movie in the background.
Leo will go to work on set somewhere, and Brad Pitt will go do different chores for him. He works for Leo, and then he'll go do his own thing. And then at the end of the day, they come back together. He drives him home, and then they do it over again. And then there will be certain scenes that follow Margot Robbie, Sharon Tate, doing her own thing, kind of just being this very free-roaming, happy person, living her life and being very joyful. And then it's really cool how they all interweave the stories together.
Something I really appreciate about Quentin Tarantino is we were saying earlier, like, you always know it's a Quentin Tarantino movie, and yet all his movies are completely different.
Yeah.
Like, you don't feel like you're watching the same movie again. Like, we were just talking about Uncut Gems, and, like, the whole time I was like, this is just good time again. Like, it just felt like the same movie. Like, it always feels like wildly different movies. Like, Reservoir Dogs, completely different from Django, completely different from this one.
I agree, but I think one thing that Tarantino does in all his movies is like, it's almost like he's not writing a story. It's like he's like wrote like a scene, and he makes a story around that scene. Does that make sense? That's how I feel like when I watch his movies.
Explain.
So, like in this movie, I felt like he like wrote out the scene of like. Okay, we're going to go into spoilers now. So if you're listening to
I
this,
think we've already been in the spoilers.
yeah.
I mean, we spoiled real life events.
True.
So yeah. Anyways,
True.
forget that.
History spoilers.
Yeah, we kind of, in a weird way, didn't spoil the movie.
That's true, actually.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's true.
Well, now we're going to.
Yeah.
Now-
Spoiler alert.
Yes. So at the end of the movie, when Brad Pitt's high on acid and he's fighting with the crazy people, I feel like he like wrote that scene first and thought of the idea, and then he made this whole story around that.
See, I feel like
That's what it felt like to
kinda-
me.
I kind of agree, but I feel like it was more so based around the Sharon Tate murder and all the Helter Skelter Charles Manson stuff. Like I feel like he wrote a movie for the events leading up to that event, and that was going to be like the big climactic ending of how history could have changed. And how
I think in general, he likes to have visuals. There's a certain visual he wants to create.
Yes.
And he'll write a story to get to that visual.
Yes.
So I don't
Yeah.
think it's a scene as much as a visual moment or shot or something.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah.
What do you think the visual would be? If you had to guess, what would be that moment?
I don't know about for this one. I'm thinking like specifically like Django, like the mansion blowing up, or Reservoir Dogs, the end of that movie where they're all killing each other. And
But see, that almost when I first saw the movie, I wasn't really sold on it. I was telling them before we started recording, but I had like really high expectations for it because I love Quentin Tarantino's movies. So I kind of had an idea of how I thought the movie should have been, and it didn't really meet that right away. So I kind of wasn't super into it at first, mainly because I just felt like the movie didn't have a ton of like direction. Like, where were we going following Leonardo DiCaprio and kind of sprinkling Sharon Tate in there along the way? Like, what were we building towards? And I didn't know like about her murder and everything, which that maybe would have given some context to it. But like for the first viewing of the movie, I was just like, what's this building towards? Like, are we just supposed to be watching them kind of struggle their way through Hollywood? Like, what was the point?
I feel like Tarantino always does that though. Is like first hour of his movie, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but I felt like that for most of the movie, and I was just like, what's the point, really? But I mean, I still enjoyed it along the way. I just felt kind of like I was floating around watching the movie. I don't know.
Sure.
A lot of it is slow-paced character
Yeah,
progressions.
and I thought everyone did a great job while I was watching. I
Yeah.
was enjoying it. I thought the individual scenes were great. I just felt like there wasn't a ton of direction at first. I've changed my mind on that. I think it has a good direction, though.
When I went in to see the movie, I had heard very little, but I did know that in real life Sharon Tate had been murdered. And so when they had so much of this day, time, year, you know, those, I'm forgetting the word for it, but they would show what year it is and the specific day and everything. And that felt a little bit like a police report to me. And I'm wondering if do you remember that voiceover guy who did a couple things in the movie?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he was supposed to be some sort of investigator. I don't know who he was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I took from it that it might have been some sort of take on a police report walking through the events of what had happened.
That's interesting.
So you have this, I heard Pete Holmes say this actually, which I thought was really smart. He was saying
Shout out
that,
Pete Holmes, come on the podcast.
please, I would love to interview Pete Holmes. That'd be so fun.
Got a plug. We got
got it.
KG, we need you.
KG,
Defend
please.
Uncut Gems.
Please, come on.
KG,
Here.
Whitney Cummings, Pete Holmes, please come on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Xavier,
We'd love
if
to
you're
have
still
you.
listening,
Yeah,
we want
Xavier,
you.
Whitney
please.
Cummings, you're coming to our city in June anyway. Might as well stop by for a little bit. You're gonna be in your hotel doing nothing as a comic for the whole day anyway.
It's true.
Xavier, you play football here. Like, you got time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your season is over. You got some time.
All right, too soon. Anyways, continue, Ken.
Pete Holmes was saying on his podcast that the pacing of the movie became more and more stressful because you knew that Sharon Tate, at least in real life, was going to be murdered.
Yeah.
So you kept on seeing these timestamps coming closer and closer. Near the beginning of the movie, it's daytime. Brad Pitt is fixing the satellite dish, I think, or the antenna
Yep.
Yeah.
on Leo's house.
Oh, I love that scene.
Yeah, and then he
Love
looks
that scene.
over, he hears the music, it's Sharon Tate listening to music and having a good time. And then a creepy guy pulls up and starts walking up the front.
And that was supposed to be Charles Manson.
Oh, was that
Yeah,
Charles
yeah,
Manson?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
She
that was
goes up to
Charles
the
Okay,
house.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he is walking up. I knew he was related to him, but I thought that she was going to get murdered right there. I thought for sure that this is when it was going to happen because I don't know the details of the account.
But did you know about her murder going into the movie?
I knew that she was in danger. That's all I knew, and so I thought that they would be tying that in.
I didn't know any of that,
Yeah.
so I guess that's why I thought there wasn't a ton of direction, or like
Yeah.
I didn't know what we were building towards in the movie. So when I knew that after the fact and watched it for the second time, it felt a lot more cohesive to me, or like we were working towards something, or there was ultimately going to be something happening at the end of it.
Right.
Why do you think Tarantino then didn't make it clear that like we were building to that? Like in terms of like, why didn't he tell the audience at the beginning? You know how sometimes in movies like they show like the ending shot or like a climactic shot first and then build to that?
Yeah.
Just to get all the viewers on the same page in terms of like now everyone knows what happens to Sharon Tate. Why do you think he didn't do that?
I think he just assumed everyone knew that already.
That's what I think too. I think he just assumed that this is a story that everyone knows in American lore. This is like, if you're an adult, watch this movie, you should know this story. But
So I feel like that's kind of on me for not knowing that.
But like us three, we didn't really know much about. I mean, we knew who Sharon Tate was, but we didn't know much about her story and what happened to her. So to us, it's a little foggy in the beginning of the movie.
So this is one of my theories about like in history class and everything. Like you learn all about the stuff that happened up until the point where your teacher was alive. And then they don't tell you about it because they assume you know.
That's a really good point.
So for our generation,
Wait,
like,
say that again. I didn't catch it.
so like like in history classes and everything, we know all about all the stuff that happened, like Revolutionary War, Civil War, like World War II, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But up to the point where our teachers were alive, they don't really tell us about that. We have to learn that through other things. So like we know way more about World War II than we know about like Operation Desert Storm, for instance. And that was the 90s
That's
or 80s or
that
see,
is
I don't even know.
Yeah, I have no clue.
That's
a great point.
That is an excellent point.
Or even
And-
Vietnam, a more recent thing, you know? Or, you know,
Yeah.
a little bit farther back, but not as recent
I
as
agree.
World War
No,
II.
that's I actually never thought about that. That's an excellent point.
So what I wonder with is like, are kids today not learning about 9/11 because their teachers were alive for it?
Ooh.
I think that.
Maybe.
I think that one will be so
This is how
big.
conspiracy started.
I think that one will be so big that it'll.
They're not
it'll-
telling the kids about 9/11.
I think that's so big that it'll be talked about, but probably not in the same way of like, well, kids know that there was really two wars. There was the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Especially because like we're just supposed to remember where we were for 9/11. It's just an assumed thing that like
Yeah.
everyone knows about that. You know.
Yeah, my sister was born after 9/11. I'm thinking about like
I was in my first year of second grade when it happened.
yeah, that's crazy. Like
Yeah, half my siblings were born
I just-
after 9/11.
I just assumed like, oh, like she knows about 9/11, like all that stuff. She knows about it, but she didn't like live through it. You know what I mean? Something weird to think about.
So to tie that to this movie, though, I think the assumption is everyone knows about Sharon Tate. They lived through it, but we didn't. So
Yeah.
we don't know about it because no one told us about it.
Yeah, and it's a rated R movie, so everyone's going there is an adult, but you know, like
Yeah.
some of those adults are young adults like us.
No
you know?
no kid has ever seen a rated R movie.
Shut up. But you,
It's never happened.
no, you know what I'm saying though.
No,
like,
I agree.
Yeah. I just think that context going in, I think it's on me. I think it would have really helped me the first time around when I saw the movie. Because when I saw it again, I thought it was a much more cohesive movie.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing I thought was really fun is it's very much a cowboy movie twice. So
Go on that.
Huh?
Leonardo DiCaprio is playing a cowboy, and Brad Pitt is a cowboy, quote unquote, in real life in the movie.
Yeah.
So he goes and he's wrestling with himself and he's playing it on set. Brad Pitt goes and fixes something, and then he meets Charles Manson's crew. It's exactly a Western standoff.
Yeah, I mean, there's always Western
okay,
themes in
yeah,
Tarantino
you're right.
movies.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
I
happens
agree with
twice.
that.
So
I
that's
agree with that.
through the first and second act of the movie. It's a Western, and then the third, I guess you could maybe argue, is kind of them both being in that situation together, where the buddy element of the movie comes in. I haven't thought about that too much yet. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know what Brad Pitt. I don't know if he had much of a character arc beyond just being a good friend.
Actually, okay, so I want to talk about this for a second. So I was watching a YouTube video about this priest who like, so this Catholic priest that reviews like Hollywood movies. It's like really weird. But I don't.
Is that like the Jolly? Is that YouTube channel?
I don't think so.
Is it like British dudes? No.
No,
Okay.
no, he's an American dude.
I find him really interesting, that channel, but go on.
No, this Catholic priest was a movie. And he's saying like how Brad Pitt like displays a lot of like Christ like qualities in a weird way. Like his character, like how he's like a loyal friend to like a fault throughout the movie to Leo's character, and how he's like willing to be like the second tier role to him.
Maybe this is a bit of a stretch, but it's almost like he's Leo's like trusty steed in a way.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like
I get more of that vibe than
Yeah.
Jesus for sure.
yeah.
Well, he also say like Brad's character's like a stand-up dude, like with like stand-up morals. Like even though like he's not like the star he kind of wants to be, he still like sticks with his morals and who he is. Like example, when he's in the car with that girl, and she's like, "Oh, can I suck your dick?" And he's like, "How old are you?" And he like sticks with his morals. Like, "No, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna." Even though he easily could like fool around with that girl, he's like, "No, I'm not gonna do
right.
this."
Like who would have known?
See, Hollywood isn't all bad.
Right, but I think it's interesting his character because like, as we know, people in Hollywood are not the most stand-up people a lot of times. But he was like, "No, like I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna."
Yeah, so he's the light in that darkness a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all Christ-like. I can see it.
Yeah, he's not saying like he's like Jesus, but like he has Christ-like qualities. To
I mean,
him.
there's. I would agree. I'd just say like there's a lot of movies where there's a clear Jesus figure, like so much more. I think the most prime example of this is Neo in The Matrix. Like he's so clearly supposed to be Jesus.
I haven't seen those movies yet.
I have not either. Actually.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, but it doesn't really matter for that point. But like there's movies where there's such a clear Christ-like figure. This one is so minimal in that I don't even know if it's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
This is a YouTube video I saw. I thought it was interesting how he talked about that. I don't know.
I thought it was very sweet. They had such a fun friendship. It was so like he said more than a brother, less than a wife is how they described their friendship. And that was very true. Like this is based in what, the 70s, I want to say, 60s?
Something like that.
70s, 60s, 70s?
It felt like 70s.
I think it was
don't know.
70s.
Early 70s.
Yeah, I believe you're right. And they were like giving each other hugs. They were talking about their feelings. They were like talking through those difficult moments.
Yeah.
They had each other's backs. They were very supportive. It was just really cool to see.
Well, Brad Pitt's character had his back. I don't know if it was as much the other way around.
But see, I feel like I feel like Brad Pitt's character was like almost kind of like a shout out to like stuntmen, how like they kind of aren't appreciated all the time, but they're always there. They're always needed. Like they always are going to have the actor's back, even when the actor is like maybe kind of not even really, doesn't even know they're there or even thinking about them.
Right.
Brad Pitt is to Leo as Brad Pitt's dog is
Yeah.
to Brad Pitt.
Yeah. There you go.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of the trusty steed vibe that Jesse was going
yeah.
on. I agree with that a lot, actually.
He's
I'm thinking about it.
He's always there. Like he has so many opportunities when he could kind of go off, do his own thing, or like let Leo sort out his own issues. But he always, agrees like, oh, well, of course I want to watch TV with you. I'll grab a beer. Like, oh yeah, I'll go fix your satellite. Yeah, oh of course I'll be your stuntman for this movie. Like he is always there for him when he needs him, even though he's maybe isn't even deserving of his friendship or of his kindness towards him.
Yeah.
Right. Can we just say how amazing it was to see Brad Pitt and Leo like interact with each other on screen?
That's what was my comment earlier about like best cast ever. It was like it's specifically just about having those two together.
Their chemistry
That's
was
amazing.
amazing.
That's
So good.
well, they're two of the greatest actors of all time,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
putting them together, it's like how is it not going to be great?
Yeah, you really buy into their friendship.
Yeah.
Totally.
And you couldn't have, this is what we were saying, a Hollywood movie. Obviously, it's in the title, but very focused on specifically that industry.
Yep.
You couldn't choose, I would argue, three people that would,
Be more Hollywood than those three.
exactly, exactly. Particularly Brad Pitt and Leo, but I'd say Margot too.
I think I mean, there's a couple people. I don't know about right now because you needed the young girl. So
I'm
Margot might
saying
be the
right
biggest
now,
of the
yeah.
young girl
Yeah.
vibe, but like
She's
I mean,
our
like
age.
yeah, I know.
How crazy is that? She's our age.
She's like 26 or 27.
Really?
She might be 28 now, but
I think she's like 26, 27. Yeah, yeah.
she's not that much older than us.
Right now.
Really? Was her, I know she has a sister. Was that her real life sister?
She has a sister?
Comes, yeah, she does. In Australia. We're just sounding
Base is
creepy.
moving.
come on the pod.
I always forget she's
Margot's sister, come on the pod.
I always forget she's Australian. I always forget that.
I know that because David Blaine did a magic special and he went to, I think, her.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember
we
that.
are wrong. She's 29.
Okay, well, that's not that
that's
big
still
of a
pretty
difference,
young.
but
Well,
I
she
mean,
was
still
26
young.
at one point.
she was.
I thought she was a little younger for some reason. I don't
Yeah.
know why. But
That's still pretty young.
No, it's
for
still-
how long she's
no,
been in the limelight.
still young. I'm just saying. For how long? But I mean, like, what was her first big movie? Was it Focus? With
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street was before Focus.
Was it?
That was definitely her first big movie. I want to talk about when Brad Pitt goes to Charles Manson's ranch.
Yeah.
That scene was so tense.
Yes.
You don't know what is going to happen, and then exactly what everyone's been saying is going to happen happens, and it like kind of catches you off guard in a weird way. You know, like
yeah.
you're expecting that guy he's going to see to be like dead or like their prisoner or something, but no, he really is just like living with these people and doing exactly what happened in it.
So it kind of defied your expectations by
Yeah.
doing exactly what it was like presenting itself as it was going to be.
Exactly, but it was still super tense the whole time. Like it was such a cool like tonal change from what the movie had been up to that point.
It's so interesting because earlier in the movie they say that he murdered his wife and got away with it. But then the whole movie is about him being a great guy and being this solid rock for Leo and not doing inappropriate things, all sorts of stuff. He's doing so well, protecting his friends, and yet he may or may not have murdered his wife and got away with it.
It's almost like he's like repenting in a way.
Maybe
know?
that's what it is.
Maybe.
Maybe that's his arc. He's becoming a better person from something that's alluded to.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Yeah, and I love that scene where he like almost made when he allegedly killed his wife. It's so funny. I just
like-
cuts while he's holding a harpoon gun.
I was like, I can see it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to Leo. He's like, he was a war hero. Like, not even arguing the point.
Yeah.
When I was watching it last night, that's when I really started to realize that, I think this is a Western movie 2 or 3 times all in one movie, because a few different times when they're walking down that long, dusty strip, that's very much an old school type trope, I would almost
Yeah.
say, in terms of older
In like
TV.
an actual like Western looking town.
Yeah.
too.
The bad guy riding in on a horse to come stop him. Also, he's so much of, in certain respects, like what I want to be. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Do you know what I mean?
You want to be him when you're like 35, 40. You want to be that guy.
I want to be that dude.
You want to be that guy.
And it's funny because that's the character that Leo keeps acting as.
Yes.
But he's not in real life.
Yes.
Yes.
Whoa. That's good. That's good.
That's Jess.
You got
Jess
it.
getting deep here. Wow.
You got it. I loved when he changed the tire so quickly. It's
Yes,
not on
yes.
screen, but he changes his tire wildly fast and drives away and gets away with
NASCAR
it.
pit stop.
Yeah, NASCAR pit
Exactly.
stop on an old car with old tools and drives away.
Apparently, the location they had where the Manson family was,
Hmm.
apparently that was like the actual location.
Really?
Apparently,
That
I don't know if that's true or
good.
not.
I-
but apparently, it was actually a real
Could be.
location.
I-
It could be true. Wouldn't put it past Quentin Tarantino. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
That yeah, him changing a tire off screen and driving away is more badass than him staying and shooting the guy riding in on a horse.
I agree.
That's way more badass, and it's
I agree.
understated. It's just who he is as a character is so dope.
It's
My-
kind of Batman like, right? Like cuz like he could beat all these people up, but so often he just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
And it's like it's the power move of like I'm not even going to be bothered by this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
Yeah, that's a great point.
What are your favorite scenes in the movie? I know my 2 favorite scenes, or actually my favorite scenes.
Well, one for me that part of the reason I think I love this movie so much is because when I was seeing it by myself in that first time, I was watching it in the theater, and then there's a scene where Margot Robbie,
Yes!
spur of the moment, walks in and sees a movie that she's in and just has an amazing time and then leaves. And that I felt exactly like her in that moment. I
that's
connected
really
to her
interesting.
so much right there.
I don't know why, but I love that scene. I don't know why I love it. There's nothing special about it, but I love it for some reason. I don't
It's
know.
a ridiculous concept. Like to just throw that in a movie. Oh, we're going to have a movie where someone's watching themselves in our movie. Like it's over the top. It's so stupid. And yet it's amazing because only Tarantino can get away with that, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else, I feel like it's cheesy. It didn't feel cheesy.
Well, it's a movie about Hollywood, and you see, put yourself in the actor's shoes, like, or the character's shoes. It's like, you probably react the same way if you were in a movie or if you were on a TV show. You'd probably be
That's true.
doing and saying the same things that they were. So I think that's part of the reason why we liked it so much.
I think I'd go full Johnny Depp and not watch any of my own movies.
I feel like it'd be one or the other. I feel like I watch myself all the time, or I always never see
I
myself.
mean, I feel like I'm not gonna like listen to this podcast, so I probably wouldn't watch my own movies.
do you listen to our podcast, Ken? I mean, you edit them.
Oh, Kenny listens to it 9 times probably to edit it.
I do, yeah.
Have you listened to them yet?
I listened to the first one. I only listened to like 5 minutes of the second one.
Yeah.
If I'm being totally honest. After people would be like, oh, I remember we said this on a pod. I don't remember it at all.
Really? We've only made a few of these.
No, literally, after we record each podcast, I don't remember anything I said. Even though like the last one we recorded, nothing I remember.
Would that count as flow state, or would that be something else?
I don't know what it is. It's odd though.
Short-term memory loss?
Potentially.
Is this because you're not getting enough good sleep?
What?
Is this because you're not getting enough good sleep?
I get plenty of sleep.
Maybe your
Good
memory is
sleep?
the one thing that's a good question.
Yeah, wait, Faze, do you still like have sleep apnea and everything? Because when we lived together in college, he was like a chainsaw.
I was
sleeping.
in college. I was diagnosed with mild to severe sleep apnea.
So I feel like you can't be getting good sleep if you're not,
What?
if that isn't fixed.
What qualifies as good sleep though?
Breathing.
Not waking up every 3 minutes.
I
Call
would
me old-fashioned. That's a
You
prereq
may
for my
not
sleep
remember that you
experience.
do, but you absolutely would wake up and move around and stuff.
just because I move around doesn't mean I'm awake.
Ah, dude, I don't know.
But
That's
it's not good.
good
If you're
sleep,
moving
though.
around, you're not having good sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have like a video recorder in my room as I sleep. I don't know if I'm getting. I don't know. I just sleep.
We're just saying, like, sleep and memory are very much tied. So if you're not getting enough good sleep because you're not breathing, we're looking out for you.
Here's the thing. If I've had sleep apnea for a long time, so I don't remember what good sleep is, to be honest.
That's fair.
And I only get like 5 hours a night at the most. So it's like,
There goes that plenty of sleep comment we just made.
hey,
Got him.
that's plenty for me. My goal in 2020 is to try to average 6 hours of sleep a night. That's a goal of mine.
6 hours?
Average.
If I get 6 hours, I'm a zombie.
Me too.
I need 8.
I think I
Really?
get around 6 or
I
7.
live off of these.
Is that a sponsor? Bang Energy?
And this too, coffee. No, but wait, what were we talking about before we start talking about me sleeping?
Just our favorite scenes from the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you had 2. What were they?
so I definitely love that scene with Margot Robbie in the theater. I love how like they're on the dish. He was like fixing the dish or whatever on top of the roof, and he like has like a daydream of him like fighting Bruce Lee. But it was like a 15 like 10 minutes
That's
scene.
a great scene.
And then it cuts back to him on the roof like just thinking.
Yeah.
Love that.
There was nothing to indicate that it was a daydream. He just
Yes.
it just cut.
Yeah.
Next scene in the progression, he goes. He's back on set.
At first, I thought that was the movie that Leo was on, and that he was like showing this.
Me too.
Scene from it, like, yeah. No, I agree with that point.
Yeah, great. I love that scene. I also love the end, obviously, where he gets in the fight with him with the people while he was on acid.
Yeah.
Dog comes in the room and he does a little whistle and the dog bites the people.
There's really
great
two
scene.
moments of gratuitous violence, not even gratuitous violence, but violence in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
That's
When he-
true. This is like the least there's ever been, probably.
When he beats up the
For
guy,
the
only
shortest amount of time too.
3 punches because he popped his
true.
tire
That's true.
and tells him
Probably
to
like
fix
a 20
it.
minute fight
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
Right. So he does that, and then at the end of the movie, when the Manson people come in and try to kill them, and he's on acid, and he has the dog attack him, and then it is a vicious scene, and then the flamethrower.
I love that the fact that he's on acid in that scene somehow keeps that scene light. Like,
Yes!
Yes.
The theater
Yes,
I was
yes.
in, everyone was dying laughing.
That's
even
a
though it
really
was
good
people
point.
getting stomped and burnt and
There were people like laughing, but it wasn't like erupting. It
Oh,
was like a
my
couple people
theater
laughing.
was going absolutely nuts.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
You're right. It did keep it
It stayed light, like
did.
even though it was not a light scene at all.
No,
really
it
dark.
wasn't. Okay, guys, I forgot how big this cast was. Like how great this cast is.
Let's go through
That's
it.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We have Dakota Fanning, you have Luke Perry, Al Pacino, and Damian Lewis all in this
These
movie.
guys are almost like cameos too.
Yeah. Well, similar to what we were talking about with, what we were talking about with 1917, how like some of the biggest actors had the smallest roles. Like Al Pacino had a minor role. Like Dakota Fanning was only in the movie for like a few minutes.
Yeah.
Like big time actors who, just say, hey, I'll do this role for a couple scenes and that's it.
Right.
Crazy.
The guy who played the other bounty hunter
Yeah. the
on
other
set,
cowboy.
who was he?
I can't remember his name.
Is he? Can you click the IMDb?
I always think
thing?
he's Josh Duhamel, but it's not.
No, I'm
Where's that?
kicking myself. Just scroll down
Yeah.
it. There. Or no, maybe not.
Wait, hold on. Keep
But
talking. I'll get it.
that scene that you're referring to, that was probably my favorite scene when Leo's like struggling to act in that other TV show and just like beating himself up about it. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." Like that is, I love that scene. Just the turmoil he's going through when he's still doing like an okay job. Like he's got such high standards for himself, and he knows he can't mess it up as one of his last shots. I love that scene.
Yeah,
love it.
He's an actor playing an actor acting.
Yeah.
Those are layers.
Yeah.
And then he's an actor playing an actor acting poorly and trying to get that moment.
Yeah,
and
and
he's
you can
struggling.
just tell how much it means to him. Oh, I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I always find that interesting when actors are acting poorly in a scene. Like intent, like for like, you know what I'm saying, right?
Intentionally.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's always really interesting. Like, how do you play that? It's like, how do you play a drunk person? That's always really hard.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like that. So when that was done well, I was impressed.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I love how Al Pacino plays a director. I think that was hilarious in the movie. Remember that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I take back my last those scenes I thought in the movie. They're my favorite. That I just mentioned the dog fight with people, and then the other scene.
You got a new favorite?
I don't know how I forgot about this scene. This is by far my favorite scene in the movie. Probably one of my favorite movie scenes of all time. Is when Leo's character is like in the chair, like reading his script, and he's like having a conversation with that girl. One of my favorite movie scenes of all time.
Yeah,
that girl, unbelievable actor, like unreal. I have her name right here. Hold on.
No, yeah,
Julia Butters. Julia Butters, you're gonna be the next Meryl Streep. I swear to God, you're unreal.
That's big praise. That's big praise.
She did so good.
Come on the pod.
Come on the pod, Julia.
Come on the pod.
Come on down. She killed it. She was wonderful.
Unbelievable actress. I mean, it was on.
And she got the nuance of being how to say it. She had her on-set persona with all of her rules of I'm only referred to by my name on this in this part. I don't eat before I shoot a scene. All these different things. And then when Leo starts crying, she switches from that, and as he becomes more intimate and himself, she lets down her guard, and you can see her be more of the 8-year-old.
Yeah.
And so she is, even though she's really smart, she also is very innocent.
Yes.
And will go and comfort him, and she's missing the point that he's crying, that the book he's reading reflects his own life. She doesn't understand that she's just so sweet. So good.
I didn't catch that. That's a great point.
In a scene where it's just her and Leo, she is the one that shines, and that's how you know she's gonna be an incredible actress.
That's a good point.
Like she's hanging with one of the best actors of all time.
Yeah, man.
And she's like
Holding her own.
She's holding her own in the scene. It's just
I really
Unreal.
appreciated the like
Unreal.
I don't eat before a scene. Like
Yeah.
I relate to that. I do a lot of public speaking for my job, and like I don't eat before I do that. Like so that connected with me a lot.
Hell yeah, man. Do you eat? For me, if I ever have to do a wedding speech or something, I don't eat because I'm very nervous, and I feel sick if I'm eating. Do you do it?
I agree.
Is that why you
Yeah.
don't do it too? Yeah, it freaks me out.
Also get the poops.
The poops. That's a quick digestive system.
Well, no,
This girl's
I think
only-
it's
whoa,
two separate
whoa.
things.
Oh, okay.
this girl's only 10 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not,
Well,
that's
yeah.
not surprising.
Yeah.
I know, but like when they probably made this movie, she's probably like 8 or 9.
She's
Yeah.
great.
She says she's 8 in the movie. Well, her
She's
character's 8.
playing an 8-year-old,
Yeah.
so makes sense.
A little on the nose.
Her and the girl from Logan are the two best child actors I've ever seen in my life by far.
What's the girl from Logan been in though since Logan?
Doesn't matter.
Well, have you only seen her in Logan?
Yeah.
She's okay.
Okay.
I don't think she doesn't speak in the movie.
Miske, back me up here. She was amazing.
I don't remember it super well, but I remember having this reaction. Like I can't speak of now. Like I'm like looking back. Like oh yeah, I remember it was great. But like I remember having the reaction of like wow, she was incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought she did a really good job. It's just I don't feel like her character really let her show her chops fully or act her chops fully. Because she's just supposed to be like a feral little kid.
That's
for
the whole
movie.
point. She wasn't talking, but she communicated.
I know, but
she communicated so much through her movement.
I'm not ready
and
to say
facial
she's one of the
expressions.
most amazing child actresses I've ever seen after one movie.
She's no Arya Stark.
I would put Millie Bobby Brown
Yeah.
in front of her. I think she might be the next.
Those are my
Meryl
top
Streep.
three favorite
You know,
child actors.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
those are the three best I've seen.
no diss to
My
Julia
opinion.
Butters, but I just she also blows me away too.
Millie, come on the pod.
Yeah, really.
Where you at?
Bring Drake with you.
Those DMs are gonna be blowing up, guys.
Get ready, guys. Dude.
All right, where would you all rank this in Tarantino films? I don't know if y'all
I
have
have
seen
to be
all
honest.
of them,
I've only seen Pulp Fiction and this. These are the only
so
two.
better or worse than Pulp?
Man.
Well, we're all Tarantino's movies.
We could read through them.
I'm gonna pull them.
Let's read through the
I
list.
think this is below Pulp Fiction and like Reservoir Dogs, but I'm not even that huge on those ones. Like I think they're great, but like I don't think
So I like Reservoir Dogs way more than I like Pulp Fiction.
I completely agree.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you go to
I'd say this is
filmography
about
and
on
we can read
Reservoir
it through?
Dogs level for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I still like it more.
The only movies I've seen from Tarantino are Django and then this movie. I haven't seen any other movies from Tarantino.
Django's my favorite one of his movies.
So films that Tarantino has directed in order. So Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2, Grindhouse. I haven't not.
That's a no. Is that a Robert Rodriguez movie? They're like I've never seen those ones, but
There's
they're-
two of them. He directed the first one.
Yeah, they're two movies.
Okay.
I don't know much about those honestly.
Inglorious Bastards,
Mm-hmm.
Django Unchained, The Hateful Eight, and now Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've only seen Pulp Fiction.
I haven't
and
seen
Once Upon a Time in
Grindhouse or
Hollywood.
Jackie Brown. So out of the ones I have seen, I feel like Hateful Eight is probably my least favorite of those.
Where would it fall for you?
Yeah, so I've seen 4 or 5. So I would say Django's my favorite, then probably Reservoir Dogs, then I'd probably put this one third out of the ones I've seen.
I would agree with that. And then Pulp Fiction after that.
Yeah.
Baze, what about you?
I mean, I've only seen Django, but I mean, to me, I would say this one's just slightly above Django.
Any final thoughts?
Good movie, great cast. Julia Butters, you're gonna be a force to reckon with in Hollywood. Can't wait to see what you do in the future. I don't know. Well done movie. I'm looking forward to Tarantino's 10th.
Yeah, I would watch this movie. Sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I didn't like it at first, but after I watched it again, I loved it. Learned more about the history. It was even better. I think it's one of his best movies for sure.
I would say that this movie is in my top 10 for sure. It's
Whoa.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Top
Whoa.
10?
I think, yeah, it is. And something about it, I could keep watching it over and over. There's a lot, the beats and the pacing of it I really like a lot, and there's something about the energy of the movie that just vibes with me a lot. I really like it.
Yeah, for me, I think there were so many great scenes that carries me through the movie. I'm not sure if I love always how they connect, and like the pacing was good and everything, but I don't know. It didn't feel like a perfect movie to me, but there were so many great scenes. It definitely has rewatchability.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So out of 10, what are we getting? What are we doing? Out of 10.
I think I gave it an 8.
Yeah, 8 as well.
Yeah, I would say 8.
I'll
8 and a
give
half. Actually, I'll go 8.5. 8.5 for me.
I'll give it a 9.5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What's a 10 in your book?
Unachievable. I'm going by the one bite review rules. You can never give a perfect review.
All right.
Really close. I mean, I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good. You guys start with Kanye. I'm going to go peek.
Do we
Go.
want to do Kanye? We've already gone an hour and 10 for this episode.
Part 3.
Make it a third episode.
Can we
Third episode.
Can we all take another pee break?
Yeah,
I
let's
have
do
to
it.
go.